Glory be to God, Mighty God Ministries. This is I'm going to start doing some health things. Whether you want to call it cooking, making meals, I don't, call it whatever you want. But I'm going to start doing these to help out because I know that one of the big things with that's helped me out with the Holy Spirit, especially, is your temple. Keeping pure. And one of the ways you can help that is in whether you want to look at it at, again, it's God. You want to pray because if you want to lose weight and get healthy, prayer helps with that. That is a thing that will help you overcome it. But then there's all those things that you have to do. The Holy Spirit. Obviously, you can't pray and then eat 12 brownies and then you can't do that. You got to put in the effort. So one of the things you want to do is, first thing is, you want to work on the emotional eating and the eating that's from boredom and those types of things. So a lot of this is common sense. And again, it's the common sense things that are so hard. If you ask a little kid like what's good and bad, a lot of times they'll just give you, if they're real young, they'll give you that quick answer because they know it's just a common sense thing. But the older we get, the harder it is for us. So one of the things you want to do is, you want to first is, make sure you're drinking enough water because water fills you up. If you want to use the hack that a lot of people use, you can drink the sparkling water because it's carbonated and fills you up, so you don't eat as much. But again, I think the most important thing is the prayer. And then number two is consistency. So a lot of us, we all know what to do. We all know, I shouldn't say that, but I believe a lot of us know what to do, but it's the hard thing is to actually do it. So you got to do the prayer and then you got to put in the time. And one of the ways you do that is you need something to track what you eat, because you don't realize what you eat. And when I say track what you eat, I mean everything. Now, granted, I'm not going to put my water in there. You can do what you want, but there's a bunch of different apps out there that will track this for you on your phone. I use Fat Secret, I think it's called, because it's a great app and it's work. You have to put, some of the stuff isn't in there. It has a barcode scanner. You could scan different products and they come up. And then other things you have to manually put them in there. But once you put them in there, you can search them. I don't even use the paid program, which I probably should. They have a paid feature where you could, get more custom stuff. But I use the regular one. But it doesn't matter if you do that, you use a piece of paper, whatever you're comfortable with. That is key. Key is knowing what you're doing, right? Because you cannot get better in anything, again, other than with prayer and God, because He can do anything. But you can't get better if you don't track what you're doing. You have to have a way to know what you're doing. And the best way to do that is to use an app, and don't go on the scale. Because the first thing you're going to want to do, what everyone tries to do when they want to lose weight, and I know me because I've been doing it my whole life up and down. I could be 300 pounds, I could be 160 pounds, more muscular, less muscular. But what happens is a lot of us, we want to use that scale because that scale is that number and we go by that number. And what happens is things take time. So a lot of times when you use that scale, it's just going to destroy you. And how I know that works is because when you start doing prayer and fasting, and when you start fasting for reasons, and again, you don't have to fast, but it does say in the Bible, if you feel that you want to glorify God by fasting, you can do that. And I fasted for certain days with no water, no food, and you will see all this water will come out of your body. So like you didn't eat for like 3 days, you didn't drink for 3 days, and you'll be going to the bathroom, you'll be like, what am I, what am I peeing out? Like I didn't drink anything, but your body still holds that. So you could go on the scale after you fasted for 3 days, and guess what? You'll be 20 pounds lighter, but it doesn't mean you're actually 20 pounds lighter, right? Because it's water. So you have to keep in mind that going by the scales, and I'm not saying check the scale like maybe within, 3 to 6 months, or maybe like in a year, check the scale. And then you'll be like, whoa, you'll see some numbers. But if you start do the scale every day, it's going to go up, down. It's going to be randomized based off of how much you ate that day. If you ate a little bit more calories, you ate a little bit less, it's going to change. If you drank a bunch of water that day, it's going to show up and you're going to get disappointed. You're going to get frustrated and it's going to defeat you. That's the devil. Again, the devil uses the numbers to defeat us. So what you want to do is maintain consistency. And how you do that is you start out with an app. So the first thing you do is you change nothing, okay? You don't change anything that you eat at all. Is all you do is you put in the app everything you eat. That way you get your baseline, right? And then once you have the baseline, then that's how you can tell how many calories you're taking in. And what you may want to do then is go online. They have a bunch of calorie indicators, and you can go use those calculations to figure out how many calories you should be taking and give or take. And if you want to lose weight, That's a simple formula. If you have the basic math skills, or even if you don't, just go online. It'll show you how to calculate it. If you want to lose, a pound every 2 weeks or half a pound, again, don't go crazy because it takes time. And I'll give you another example, right? When I started out working out again, I was probably about 295, 96 pounds because I wrote it on the wall. And I was depressed, and I had a bunch of other stuff going on. So that's the other things. You have to deal with the other things first, and you have to pray because God will break the chains. But I wrote that on the wall. Probably have it downstairs somewhere. But what happened is I had hurt my arm too, so I couldn't do a lot of push-ups. So I literally could do maybe like 2 push-ups, and then I would have to do knee push-ups because there was something I messed something up in this arm, and I could not do my push-ups. But what's funny is if you start small, again, it's like a tree outside or a seed you plant. It starts small, and over time it builds up. And what happens is the devil defeats you because you don't see the results right away. But if you stay consistent, and again, you might miss a day here or there, that's okay. If you stay consistent, it will change. I can tell you right now that it takes me quite a bit to do my push-ups, but I went from doing 2 push-ups or, maybe like 5 or 10 knee push-ups a day because my arm was messed up to now I do so many that I think I have something with my elbow. I have to be careful because I do so many because I probably do around, 300 or 315. But again, that's over years, right? You can't take what I did. No one see, if I would show someone the number, and I don't show these, so no one really knows it, but if I'd show the 300 number, people would be like, whoa, you do that many? There's people that do thousands, but no one would know that, guess what? I started with 2. And I told my daughter this because my daughter was doing push-ups in school, which is good in gym class. And, she couldn't do a ton of them. And I said, look, I go, start out with knee push-ups, start out with 2. You got to build yourself up. No one gets, ripped, or you don't even need to be ripped. But if you just want to be fit because it makes you feel good, you're healthier, that's a good thing. So that's what you want to do, is start out small and build yourself up, and then start counting those calories. And then you want to make an adjustments. And we're not going to go over too much, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my breakfast, which is an easy breakfast. Because when we were kids, what did you used to do? We used to eat cereal, which is horrible for you. The processed cereal, I don't care what anyone says, it tastes good, but it's horrible for you. It's basically like, processed food with sugar on it. And I know because I used to eat it all the time, and it's not good for you. It's definitely not good for you. You can get away with that stuff when you're a kid or when you're younger, you're more active. You can get away with that, but it takes a toll when you get older and you notice it. So what you want to do is you want to have consistency, and you want to do things that you can make quickly and easily that also taste good. Because remember, if you go and just eat stuff that doesn't taste good, you're never going to make it. You're going to quit. Because it tastes like trash. No one wants to eat stuff that doesn't taste good. You got to add some flavor, some things to it. So again, there's a line where you don't want to go too hardcore, and you don't want to go, too non-hardcore. You want to be in the middle. But what I do for breakfast, and I do this, and I change it up because I'll have eggs and stuff, but I like quick and easy. So I like cereal. So what happens is I like cereal. So I grab a bowl like this. This is easy. These you can get at Walmart or wherever else. These are measuring cups. Now, do you have to be this hardcore? No, but I like it because it at least tells me what I'm doing. So this is a measuring cup that has 1 cup, half a cup, 1/4. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to go grab the stuff from the fridge we need. And you don't have to do this exact thing. You can do whatever you like. So I'm going to grab this. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to grab these things. And I don't have a Food Network's kitchen set up here, so we're just going to roll with it, and I'll show you what I have and what I do. And I change this up. The key is that you do want to change it up because you don't want to have the same things, because eventually you'll get bored with them. So you do want to switch it up. So some days I'll do a cereal like this. Other days I will do eggs. I like eggs, and with all kinds of stuff in them. And what's amazing is when you start counting the calories, if you cut out a lot of the junk food, and I'm not saying doing this in the beginning, but if you cut out a lot of the stuff, you can eat so much, you'll get sick. You'll literally be like force feeding yourself. You'll be like, I don't even want to finish anymore. I've done that. I've thrown stuff away because when you eat the pure natural foods, it fills you up. The other thing you can get is tablespoons like these on Amazon. They're real cheap. They're measuring ones. You can also just use a regular one, but I like to use those. And the other thing I do is water. And I don't know if this works, this Baja Gold Salt, but I did see it, and I like doing it. So I do this. I don't do it every day, and I don't know, again, if it works 100%, but I do know when I do it, I at least take my water intake in. So, and like I said, all this stuff is just stuff I do. I get nothing out of this, on the videos. There's no promotions here because, this is just stuff I do. So what the first thing I do is I take my water because when you wake up in the morning, you want to get water, you want to hydrate. So what I do is I take this mineral sea salt. This is that Baja Gold stuff, and it's pricey, but I've had this bag for like a long time, and it's still like all the way full. I use this little, 1/4 teaspoon to put it in there, and then I take this, put it in a Ziploc bag, seal this bad boy up, and put it where it needs to go, which is right in here. And then the next thing I do is I get my water out of the fridge, but you could use any water, whether it's filtered, whatever you want to use, it doesn't matter. But I take this and I let the salt flow around. Sometimes the salt sticks at the bottom. So what you want to do is you want to get a spoon or whatever and mix it up. Sometimes I don't, and then you drink the water, and then at the end you have the salt, crush it at the end with all of it together. So that just depends. The other thing I like to do is get my toast ready. You know what's funny? This bread is awesome. And this it comes frozen. So it's like a vegetable, actually. So this counts as your vegetable. But this is equal bread. And I know a lot of people know about this, but I love it. It's like one of my favorite breads. I actually cut out, and, I'm not saying don't cut out bread, because bread is good. Carbs are good. You don't have to do that. But I can tell you, I enjoy this bread now that I've had it more than any other bread. And this is that Ezekiel bread, and it has to stay frozen. And then when you want to use it, you put it in the fridge. So you have to use it, within a certain period of time, because again, it's pure. If you take the regular breads, and what happens is you leave them out, they'll last for weeks and then they get mold. Why do they do that? Because the way they're made. This right here, if you leave this out, this is going bad, because this is made a certain way. So I put that in the toaster because I like my bread to be a little bit crunchy on it. And I don't like just plain bread also. So I have this sauce. This is from one of the Amish markets. And again, it's got a little bit of sugar. It's got 1 gram of sugar. And it's 5 calories, got a little sodium, but it's good. I like it. Sweet and spicy mustard. And I put this on my bread. So that's just a little something good. And you don't have to do that. But again, you have to enjoy things. You don't want to just go too crazy. And I know, because I've done it. I've cold turkey things altogether. And what happens is you eat good, or you do your cold turkey method, and then what happens? You have a bad day, and then you binge eat. And I still, you know what? I have to keep praying, because I still occasionally will do it sometimes. Not crazy, but sometimes. And a lot of times that's with chocolate and sugar, because sugar is where they get you. But what I do with this is you take this stuff right here. This is called wheat germ. This gives you a bunch of fiber, and it's good for you. At least for me, I like it. I've still been doing it. And this is really easy. You just take, 1 tablespoon, boom, 2 tablespoons, boom. Throw that in that bad boy. And this, you got to refrigerate this too. Again, you can tell it's good because you have to refrigerate it. Because, the stuff that you don't have to refrigerate, or that you can leave outside, what does that mean? Well, guess what that means? That means it's processed stuff, and it's going to stay good forever, because it's got all the garbage in it that's not good for your body. Your body wasn't made for that. So then now we do, and again, you could use any fruit. You could use any fruit you want to use. I prefer blueberries and strawberries, and I normally do about half a cup. It depends how I'm feeling. If I'm feeling like I want to eat more blueberries that day, I might do a 1 cup. And the good thing about, the fruits and vegetables is that you could eat essentially, as many as you want to a degree. I mean, you don't want to go too crazy, but it's natural sugar. Natural sugar is good for you. And that's a little bit less than half a cup. But since I don't want to pull the brand new one out, I'm just going to go with this. And then what I do is I use strawberries. So I either do half a cup of strawberries, or a whole cup, depending on how I'm feeling. Now, if I want to, depending on the wash and clean up, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll cheat. I'll throw the strawberries on top initially, just so I can wash them off. Because obviously, like with any fruit or anything you get, you want to wash it off. So we take this cup right here, go into the sink, put the water on, go like this. Put your fingers down so you get it out, like so. And then what I do is you can grab a cutting board or a napkin. I'm gonna do it right here, and you're gonna cheat a little bit here, and I'm gonna use a napkin to do it. But essentially, you're gonna take your strawberries out, You're going to put those. And again, this is all timing, right? So it depends how much timing you have in the morning. If you don't have the time, I've taken these and I'll just throw them in there and I just eat the whole seeds and everything. Blueberries in there, done. Keep the cup. We need this for our milk. And then again, if you want to cut your strawberries up, that's okay. If you don't want to cut your strawberries up, you don't have to. You can eat them whole. That's what I did for a while. And then, like I said, it is a little bit easier. You get them in your teeth, if you cut them up. So just a preference. Be careful with your fingers. And the great thing too about this fruit is the fruit fills you up. And also it gives you sugar, which is natural sugar, which is always, that's not horrible for you. If you're going to have sugar, natural sugar is the best. And it doesn't count against your calories, or not your calories, but your sugar content. So even though it is sugar, you don't, it counts, but you don't really have to count it because it's good sugar. If you're going to eat any sugar, it's good sugar. So then that's done right there. So we have that in the bowl. Again, very simple. Then you take this right here. This milk's awesome. This is this Fairlife milk. I really like this. I get the fat-free milk. You don't have to do this. Don't worry about being fat-free because you don't have to. But I did it because I actually had a medical thing where I had to for a while. And I actually enjoy it so much now that I use it. The other good thing about this fat-free milk is it's got 13 grams of protein in it. So a lot of these stuff, whether it's milk or yogurt, it has 13 grams, no fat, and it's got 80 calories. So it's like nothing. So I normally just do a cup. I do 1 cup. But you could do, sometimes like if I need an extra, if I want to get in protein that day or something or get a little extra, if I want to eat a dessert, I have desserts. You have to have all those things. I may do that. So then you take this bad boy, you put the milk in there, and then boom. Now we got our cereal. We're ready to go. So now I got my cereal, quick and easy. And then we're not going to put this away. Normally I put that away, but right now the dishwasher, we got our sign here that says it's clean. So we're not going to touch that. We're going to leave it alone. But normally I like to clean as I go. It's just easier that way. And then what I'm going to do is normally by now I would have started my toast. So I put the toaster on. I'm going to put my milk away here because we're done with the milk. And you could switch it up however you like it. So if you want to have, yogurt with berries that morning, that's fine. It's whatever you like. But you have to pick and choose what your calories are and what you want. You can, if you want a snack and have a big dessert snack and you want to eat dessert shells, that's not horrible. You can do that, but you have to cut somewhere else. And that's how the app's going to help you. When you start doing the apps where you count the calories up, that's going to show you what you can do. And if you stay close to that calorie range, you're going to see results. It's going to take time. Again, give it months. You got to give it months. It takes time, but you will see the results. I promise you, if you stick to it, consistent, you're going to fail. That's okay. Again, what's the Bible say? Righteous man or woman will fall 7 times, right? But we'll get back up because we were built on the rock, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. But it's just, you take that and guess what? That's everywhere in life. You're going to fail. You're going to say, hey, the kids made, brownie crunches today, and I want a brownie crunch, So you can have that, but you got to limit those things. So now my cereal's ready to go. Sometimes what I would do is I like bananas too occasionally. So I cut up a banana and put that in there. And then now this is a cereal that's filling. It's got protein in it. It's got sugar. It gives you a little bit of because of the natural sugar, gives you a little start of the day. If you can't eat that, that's okay. But again, it's a good replacement for cereal, and you still get that effect where, you're like you're a little kid. It's delicious. And then the wheat brand, you can't see it, but the wheat brand actually is like oats or whatever you want to call it. And you could use oats or whatever you like, but it's delicious. I started eating this, and I eat this, not every day, but quite a bit. And you could switch it up. If you don't want to use milk, you could use yogurt and throw them in there. And it tastes good. It's like eating a dessert. And you don't have to, you could add variety. If you like Ready Whip, which I love Ready Whip on everything, you don't have to give that up. But you also have to understand, if you put 10,000 sprays of Ready Whip, and you get addicted to it, then that might be something you got to stay away from. So again, everything in moderation. Boom, we got the toast ready. So now I got my toast ready, and we'll unplug this thing. And I like this toast a little bit higher because this is it's like a vegetable, but if you could see right there, it's got the crispiness to it, and I like a little crunch. And the reason why I'm telling you that is when I do my other breakfast or lunch, a lot of times I eat eggs. And again, it's a time thing. If I was lacking time, I would literally put my eggs in a bowl, and I'll do another episode of that, but I put the eggs in the bowl and I microwave them. and you can do that. If you have time to cook in the pan, that's better. And then I take a teaspoon of this right here. This is the good stuff. This is that sweet and spicy pepper mustard. This is delicious. You can tell I love to eat. And even though I'm eating like, healthy, you still got to enjoy yourself. This got to be refrigerated too after you open it. And it's from the Amish markets. So, they do a good job in almost everything they make, obviously. And then again, oh, it's delicious. Delicious. And then you could tell too, like I said, I like this with a little crunch. That's good. And sometimes I eat the toast before, sometimes I eat the cereal and then eat the toast. Got to wash it down with your water. And make sure that you are drinking a lot of water, because that is the key, is you do want to drink a lot of water, because a lot of times, whether it's boredom, you don't have anything to do, and we've all done that. You go to the drawer, you start getting in the snack cupboard, right? And then now you ate a bag of chips, which obviously if you count up that bag of chips in your calorie app, technically, could you eat a bag of chips? Yes, you can. But guess what? That bag of chips was 1,000 calories, and let's say you're at 2,000. And now you have to figure out, how do you fill that other 1,000? Again, a bag of chips is not great for you, but if that's what you like, you still can do that in the process, but eat better food. And you'll realize, to stay full, you eat more things. And what are those? If you're vegetarian, that's okay. You can eat vegetables and fruits. Fill up with those. If you're a meat eater like me, I like meat. Whether, I'm not going to get into carnivore and vegetable and all that stuff. You could pick and choose what you like. If you like meat, you might eat a meat and then eat vegetables on top of that. And you could do so many vegetables that you have two plates full of vegetables and meat mixed together. The other thing is, it does help to eat, if you are eating protein, when you eat fats and other carbs, it helps to eat protein with those together. Okay. I don't know how it works. I don't know the technical side. Like I said, I'm not a physical fitness person. I just played sports all my life. I had to cut weight when I was in the little peewee football. They used to call it the big brothers or fat brothers back then. Now I'm sure you can't say that because you get in trouble, but they used to call it something like that. And we used to have to run after practice because you had to make weight. So you had to weigh in on scales before the games. And what would we do? This is hilarious. You would weigh in on a scale because it was like 105 or 90 pounds. You have to cut weights. You wouldn't eat like anything that week. There was one kid, he used to have the trash bag suit. This is before they had like the fancy suits. It was like trash bags you put on and it'd make you sweat and you'd lose weight. And when I think about it now, it's sort of foolish, but we would do that. They would stand you on your head, this thing that like your blood would flow down and then the scale would be different. I mean, it was just crazy stuff, but that's what they did back a long time ago. But we would cut weight. And then we go to the snack table because like you didn't eat for a couple of days, right? And then you go to the snack table and you'd fill up on brownies, which wasn't that great for you, or Gatorade or Powerade. But the point of the story is that, you have to have limits, and the key is consistency. The key is consistency. If you stay consistent, even if you stay consistent throughout the week and then maybe on the weekend you splurge a little bit, that it will make a difference, huge differences you'll see. And I'll go over some of the other things that have helped me. You can do eggs. I love this bread here. This is Equal bread because when I do my eggs and toast, I like to eat it almost like you're eating a sandwich. I used to love sandwiches, but when you eat lunch meats, you got to watch out. That's processed meats. And again, I ate them all my life. So when I say that, like for 40 some years, I ate every lunch meat under the sun. I also was 290 pounds and you wouldn't recognize me if you saw me. So you have to keep in mind that what you eat, what you put into your body makes a difference. It makes a huge difference, whether in its emotions, the way you feel. It all ties in, whether you're sleepy or not, whether you have energy, it all ties in. So you got to keep that in mind. But I love this as Equal bread. When we do the eggs episode, I'm going to show you, I take 2 pieces of this and I toast it up and I put the eggs on. It's like I'm eating a sandwich. So again, this is a quick video. Well, I guess it's not a quick video. It's 23 minutes long. But this is a video about my breakfast. I have a couple variations of the breakfast, and I have a countdown. I was hardcore to where I'd have like each item in exactly the breakdown in an Excel spreadsheet of like what this was this was this. That's how I started out. And you could do that too. But then I got a little bit more relaxed because you don't absolutely need to do that because you have the apps that'll calculate it for you. And as long as you know that this is like maybe your 300 calorie or 500 calorie breakfast or whatever it is, and you're hitting 2,000, 2,500, whatever it is, then you stay as long as you stay a little bit in line with that, you're going to see results. I promise you're going to see results. But again, consistency is key. Consistency is key. And what happens is when you're working, and I know because when I was young, I was drinking all the energy drinks, all the pop, 12 packs of pop, Pringles, Takis, Poppables. I'd eat a whole bag, when you do that, and all the fast food, and I'm not against those things. It's okay to have those occasionally. But what happens is when you do those all the time because they're a quick way, because you don't want to take the time to cook, or like this, let's say I did the whole video, it's 25 minutes. If I did this and I wasn't talking and showing anybody, it might take me 5 minutes. This is 10 times better for you eating this, and you will see the results. Whereas if I go to McDonald's, and I can tell you I did it. Let me be an example. I would go get 2 sausage egg McMuffins and whatever, 2 hash browns or whatever was on sale for, $3 or $4 or something like that. And again, that's okay to occasionally do that. But if you eat that every day, you're going to have the results. What you put in is what you get. So again, God bless you. This is going to be the food part that I'm going to start doing just to show you, because I believe that, the God helped me. I couldn't have done it without the prayer. I'd be 290 pounds. I would have lapsed, and I would have been binge eating. I would have went back to the same old stuff. But with the power of prayer, God can change things. And that's how he changed me. So I'm going to start doing this. I don't know if this is helpful or not. Hopefully it is. And we'll go from there. But if you are not saved, again, the most important thing about food or anything else, because you know what? God loves you however you are. When I was 295 pounds or 300 pounds, he loved me. He loved me the same then as he loves me now. I feel better. I feel better now. I look better physically. But you know what? He loved me the same. His love does not change. It's the most important thing. If you are not saved or you're not sure, click the link below with this description, read the salvation prayer, and start your journey. God bless you, and take it easy.